Tomorrow is the day. We got Elon's comp package coming up. In the past couple of days, I've been pretty silent about Tesla on YouTube and as far as making videos because the stock has done nothing but just been sitting in this tight price range. But I want to go over in this video my position on Tesla going into tomorrow. I have close to $55,000 worth of calls that are going to be expiring in July. We're going to be talking about those. We're going to also be talking about and giving an example of stop loss hunting. I know that if you're an institutional investor or a long-term investor, this isn't going to really matter. But as far as trading and understanding price action, what we saw in the past couple of days, the past 2 days of manipulation on Tesla, is the perfect example of market makers purposefully driving the stock through a stop loss, tagging everybody out, and then buying up calls for literally pennies on the dollar. And so let's start with that aspect first before we get into the comp package. So obviously, Tesla has just been squeezing in the past couple of weeks between this price range, basically making lower highs and higher lows. The reason that we have this type of squeeze is because we know, and this is usually happening when it comes to earnings or some sort of event, but we know that there's a big catalyst coming. And that catalyst is going to be Elon's comp package. And then the next catalyst is going to be earnings in July. So if we know that there's no reason for the stock to move until a big catalyst, which we know is coming up, which is the comp package, then there's no reason for the stock to break out and there's no reason for the stock to break down. With that said, stop loss hunting happens when institutional investors and market makers know that there are protective stop losses set under a specific area. So when you're playing this type of pattern, technically, this is not how I play it, but technically, you would set a stop loss either here at the break of $170, or you would set it at a lower low down here at a break of $170 and a lower low from where this original higher low was. So basically, if this level's broken, that's like the last line of defense for most people. Now, what we talk about more than anything within this community and within our private academy is that we have to wait until the candles close before we make a move. And the reason for this is we have to see how the rest of the day pans out. So for instance, yesterday, Tesla opened at 174, sold off down 3.5% to $167, but you'll notice that we bounced at the end of the day and the bulls bought this thing back up. So we know that that was a stop loss hunt because there's no reason for the stock to drop before the comp package unless somehow people know what the answer to the comp package is beforehand. And you can't do that because I'm pretty sure it's going to be not a live vote. Like a lot of big institutional investors and people on CNBC are saying that what their vote is or what their vote has been. But in this case, I don't think that they can preemptively know that. So that's why I was not scared. I wasn't worried about that drop because I know that there's not a fundamental reason for that to occur. Now, of course, tomorrow, if the comp package is not pushed through, I think that Tesla will easily crater down to $150 in the next couple of weeks, filling the gap, and we will probably have a very, very rough couple of weeks until earnings, which will be, Wednesday, July 17th, and then the robo-taxi event in August. So if the comp package is not pushed through, things are not looking good. But I think it will get pushed through. And the reason that I do think it's going to get pushed through is I think shareholders are going to vote for it. And I do think that we will probably see Tesla in the next couple of days up at least to $187 probably tomorrow. And then if not, even higher, up to about $195. Now, I've been holding on to my position for this for a very long time. I could have closed it out. I could have said to myself, I'm just going to close it, walk away, and reopen it, which I probably could have done. But I decided that I was going to hold it since I come on here every day and tell you guys that I'm in a position. I'm not going to jump in and out of trades. So if we look at the current trade that I have open on Tesla at this point, you're going to notice that they are 719 $175 calls. So I have $79,000 worth of calls that expire in July. And you're going to see on the first execution was 530, the second was 610, and the third was 611. Now, me losing $80,000 if this does not play out the way that I expected to is going to suck. But at worst, I'm going to give away 10% of the overall profits that I've made so far this year. So understand that if this works out the way that I'm thinking, I should probably make about $120,000. It'd be awesome to pay the Cybertruck off, like, that would be nuts within a week of ownership of it, and I hope that things play out that way. If they don't play out that way, I'm not gonna be upset. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna show up here tomorrow and be like, "Oh, no, the market's rigged." I know what I'm getting myself into, and I think that when it comes to trading, it comes to investing, people don't take too much accountability to that. They'll sit there tomorrow if it doesn't go through and say, this country's rigged, the judge is overturning all those things. Like, I don't think that this should have been overturned by a judge. I don't think that like none of that. But what are you going to do about it, right? Like, the only thing that you can control is your position sizing. You can't control where the market's going to go. And so I do feel confident about Tesla. I do think that we're going to see a continued rally, and I do think that we're going to see that push up to 190. But as I stated, if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be surprised. And more importantly, I'm not going to be upset by it. There is still this gap to potentially fill down here, but we'll see what ends up, playing out over the next couple of days. Now, if we look at Tesla on this weekly time frame, you're going to see at this point we have a very low RS rating, which is relative strength. So really, we need to make sure that we hold the support level, like we said, of $168. And I think from that point, we're easily going to get that breakout. Um, you know, I'm not talking about my long, like I have calls here, but I do have 400 shares long term. I would like to add more. Um, but honestly, if Elon doesn't get the comp package and Elon leaves, I will sell my shares. Like, I will definitely sell my shares for sure. Tesla will obviously still own all of the intellectual property of the company. Tesla will still be a company if that occurs, but I don't want to be an investor in the company at that point. I think that if he doesn't get the comp package, I believe Elon will leave. And if Elon leaves, I think he's going to take the AI team with him. And I think he's going to take some key people with him. And I don't want to be invested in Tesla without Elon. And you guys can be like, dude, I totally disagree. I think you're dumb. I don't like Elon. That's fine. Personally, I'm not going to keep my money in the company. So it's not a ton. It's only 400 shares. If he doesn't get the comp package, I'm going to probably just close them. We'll see. And obviously, I'll lose money on the calls. But that's part of the game, right? Like, you can't. You obviously have to risk accordingly, but you have to understand it. And me doing this for 9 years, like, I know what I'm getting myself into. I understand all the positions I've had. I've had a disgusting run too. Like, the past, like, obviously, January, if you guys have been following, January was not the best month for us. In February, we did way, way, way better. And basically, from February just up until right this point, let's see, on the 12th, we're up 634,000. And even just in the past couple of weeks, I've ended up closing so far this month of June $188,488. And I have not had a red day. I expect that to end soon. I definitely expect losses soon. Hopefully, it's not going to be Tesla. Closed a couple of losses out today. Closed out NU for $1,900. Closed out Gilead for $12,000 profit, but it's $12,000 loss. But overall, my trading has been just perfect. But I understand that it's not always going to be that way, and I feel that there's so many times that we get like completely wrapped up in all of the winnings and how great we're doing, that when we're losing, we don't understand that that aspect is part of the game as well. If you guys want to learn more about my trading style and exactly how we've been able to get these returns using only the two indicators that you see on your screen, the market bias and the BX trender, you guys can take my course down below. It's completely free. It's only about 45 minutes long, going over my exact strategy. And what's even cooler is that if you go to our homepage, all of our free courses will also be there. I'm not one of those people that thinks that you should safeguard information and charge you guys thousands of dollars for a course. I'm not going to do this forever. And what I want more than anything is to actually take the applicable things that I've been able to prove are working and prove are successful and teach it to you guys. Because even if you do have the strategy that's completely free, you still have to have the mental discipline to use that strategy when things are going shittily. And there will be times when things go shittily. And I feel that the hardest aspect is to see no results or negative results, just like we said in January, right? To have negative results or just no results at all and still stick with it. That's the hardest part. is to, and even as an entrepreneur, to see no results, but just continue to go and go and go. And I promise you, if you stick to that strategy and this, and you don't blow your account up, which is the most important thing as a trader, you will do wonders over the long term. Because we can't prove that we can make money tomorrow. And we don't care about making money tomorrow. What we can prove, and what I'm here to do, is to make money over the next 1 year, over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years, and over the next 50 years. So if you guys want to learn how to do that, check out our free courses. Hopefully tomorrow works out, and I'll see you guys then. Peace.